Hey everybody, how's it going? So I got a good comment from someone that I thought was really interesting, is that in the different things that I talk about in terms of helping to manage your mood disorders through the appropriate balance of medication, your faith, having an active lifestyle, and then the one part I haven't thought about is humor, is that this can be a very serious, very kind of dominating, sad, all the things that we deal with in terms of our emotions. And I think sometimes, again, as we've shared and talked about, we give it too much power. And I think that having a little humor into it makes a ton of sense. So I thought I'd share with you, kind of in a humorous way, one of my little things I have to do to maintain order. So my wife would laugh at me when I tell you about this. So every night, let me back up. I have a tough time, as we've talked about, with transitions. I'm slow, I'm inefficient. I'm fine when I'm in my groove, but when I have to interrupt my groove and move to something else, it is just ridiculously difficult to get back in a groove. So going from meeting to meetings just totally sucks when you own a business or you work, period. So part of the whole challenge is getting ready in the mornings and making sure that all jives. Now, I've got a couple little kids. I go to preschool, and my wife and I take turns. My wife probably takes them more than I do, but I try to help out as well and take them to school. And one of the things, even a year or so back, I was just terrible at getting up in the mornings. I worked extremely hard with my doctor to find a balanced med situation, because I was just a freaking zombie in the mornings. I couldn't function. I couldn't, it was terrible. And then I'd be late and I wasn't helping out. And so once I found that balance, I determined a task that happens every day. And one of them was, my kids need breakfast. So I sort of adopted that as my thing to do every morning, because I feed the kids and take care of that for breakfast. So they get going, and then my wife helps out after that. So that got me so I could get up in the mornings, and I had like a routine, because we're all about routine, right? We gotta find some sort of equilibrium, and when things get out of whack, then we're totally, we don't even know what to do with ourselves. So that worked pretty good. Now, the problem still is the inefficiency of getting ready. So now I've got this figured out, or I'm getting out of bed, but now I'm not getting going fast enough, and I'm not getting, I'm behind, and I'm not able to help as much, and I don't get to work late. So I'm like, okay, we gotta even go further. So I started doing some the evening before preparations, where I have this routine I go through before I go to bed. When we're done kind of hanging out and chilling on the couch, I go through and I set up all the breakfast, all the bowls, cereal, spoons, you name it. All of it's all set there, ready to rock. So the second when they get up, it's all ready to serve. So that's number one. And I have fun with it. Honestly, I kind of get a kick out of it. It's kind of silly, but that like 2 minutes of me doing that saves me a ton of time in terms of scrambling around trying to get stuff done. It's all there and it's all ready. I've even done with my son, where I lay all his clothes out. They're right there, so get him all dressed. My daughter gets dressed. It's just, it's a good little vibe there. So we got that. Now, problem is then I gotta get dressed in the morning, and now I gotta go back downstairs. And now if I go back downstairs, oh man, then I'm gonna get stuck. I'm not going fast enough. So I'm like, okay, we got to figure out a way where I cannot go back downstairs, because for whatever reason, then I get distracted and I don't get what I need to get done, and then I'm going slow. So I would bring all my clothes upstairs, get ready in the bathroom upstairs, Just everything was all placed. So the night before, I'd all do that, get it all ready. Obviously I'd go through my med routine where I get all my meds ready for the night and for the mornings that I take during the day. So just this really, really like, it's like pathetic when I look at it, but hey, it's what works. This little routine that I've developed is what keeps my, kind of myself in check, my equilibrium, my balance. And I have this kind of tasks to do, and I know what I got to do. When I've talked about when I ran a marathon, one of the reasons I loved running a marathon so much is that it told me what to do every day. So it's like, okay, you run that day, you don't run that day, you run that day. And so I've started training for a half marathon. It's the same thing. It's like, I know I got to run 4 miles today. It's 30 degrees outside. I don't want to do it, but it told me to do it, so I'm going to do it. So I think there is some refuge in routine for us in the appropriate amount. We still have to be able to flex. And that's, I try really hard to do that. I think, going on trips, those are really tough. We could talk about, I have stories about that I'll tell another day. But generally speaking, having some of that routine or finding a routine can help you sort of manage some of the unpredictable aspects. So maybe you are more efficient, or you're more comfortable, or you're not out of whack. So that's okay. I think that's something that I didn't really realize until my wife observed me. She's like, you've really got kind of your vibe down as far as what you do every night and what you do. And she's like, I wouldn't need to do that. And I'm like, I know, I'm special that way. And we joke about it and stuff. So at any rate, there's my sort of, maybe it's not funny, I don't know, funny or amusing story about me and my little routine that I do every evening and every morning. And I'm happy to say, once I adopted this, that it changed everything in terms of me being able to get out of the door and not get stuck at home where I'm depressed and feel crappy and just distracted, anxious, whatever, all the different little picadillos I deal with. So there you go. Routine. If you haven't had one, maybe try to establish one. Give yourself some flex, but try to create some sort of, organization around the chaos so that when you deal with chaos, you're maybe not as stressed out. So God bless everybody, and we'll chat soon.